Hi, this is Mark Gibbons from People Maps, and today we want to talk about leadership. And of course, we're going to look at it from the personality psychology perspective and maybe answer that big question that you're possibly sitting with right now. Is there a specific personality type that makes a natural leader? Well, you've got two problems here to look at. One is we perhaps all have our own ideas of what we picture when we think of a leader. And yet, in terms of personality, we can identify leaders, fantastic leaders, well-respected leaders, people that the vast majority have recognised as an exceptional leader, and we can recognise these from across the personality spectrum. So if you're looking for the personality test that says, hey, this person is a leader, I've just done a test on them, really that's not how it works, because we have fantastic leaders from across the spectrum. So where does personality come into this? What is the psychology of great leadership? Is there some formula? Is there something that we could actually hold on to? Well, yes there is. And the question here is not so much whether someone is a natural leader or not. Where personal psychology comes into this is that we can help you determine and help an individual understand what their natural leadership style actually is. And this is the big difference. And I think the great leaders of our time have understood themselves, and they have been true to themselves and have been the leader that they need to be, not the leader that someone else perhaps was in the past. So this is how you use personality and personal psychology when you're trying to understand and apply it in the world of leadership. So maybe I'll give you a couple of examples, for instance, and these are talking in broadest terms, of course, but if you take a leader like Obama. Obama's a fantastic leader, and probably nobody more significant or more recognised in the world in terms of leadership. And where does he sit on the personality spectrum? Well, most likely he is residing somewhere on the southwest of the personality map. Now, in classic terms, that might not be where we expect our leaders to appear. I think in stereotypical terms, we tend to visualise our leaders somewhere up here in the northeast, and traditionally maybe that was more common. Another example would be perhaps someone like Mahatma Gandhi, who probably resides over in the southwest, maybe even towards the northwest. Remember his law background and his incredible perseverance and those other qualities. So certainly somewhere again on the west of the personality spectrum. This is the area where they're drawing upon internal energy. And in the south area of this map here, you've got leaders who are driven by how they feel about everybody else. They generally and genuinely want the world at large, the people out there, to feel better, if I can use a very glib summary of that. Other leaders, of course, people like, let's give another example of Richard Branson of the Virgin Empire, probably sitting over here in the south, but probably in the southeast. Again, a natural leader, built a huge empire, done it very much his way, but again, he's very much down here. And some of our political leaders, many of them, particularly in the UK, we'll take Tony Blair from the past. Tony Blair probably sitting over here in the northeast of things. So what we're seeing is that actually we find leaders across the personality spectrum. And if you're really wanting to understand leadership in terms of the psychology and personal psychology, then you must accept this fact and stop looking for that single place on the map where you will find the best natural leader. The trick here is to help an individual understand their own personal leadership style and work to that model, to that style, and not try and imitate someone else. So for instance, Obama can only be Obama effectively. There's no point in him trying to lead with this style of someone over here in the northeast, for instance. that just wouldn't work in the long run. It might pay off for a little while, but it's not sustainable. So that's how personal psychology works when you're looking at it in terms of leadership. Now, of course, other factors in leadership are, what are the issues? What key things does a good leader have to be good at, essentially? Well, of course, there's the whole thing to do with motivation and inspiring people. So that's definitely an element of leadership. You're also looking at their ability to perhaps manage themselves and manage others, manage resources perhaps, maybe that's an issue. You're certainly looking at perhaps communication and how effective their communication actually is. And again, that will vary across the spectrum. Not is someone good or bad at communication, but their preferred communication style will be all over the place in terms of the personality spectrum. Other obvious things might be delegation, although that's maybe more a management issue. I think leaders obviously have to delegate and inspire, so delegation and how effective they are at delegating. So these are other factors that we might see in leadership. So that's just the tip of the iceberg in this short video, introducing you to how personal psychology is applied when we're looking at leadership. I'm Martin Evans, this is People Apps. Thanks very much for watching.